everyone. It's always a pleasure for me to have a guest return to the show. So I'd like to welcome back Stefano Valdo. Welcome back to the show, Stefano.
Thank you, Nancy. Great to be back.
Now, when you were first here, we spoke about your music career, correct?
Yeah.
And now I believe your wife is also a musician.
Yes.
So do you have a story about how the two of you met?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Excuse me, allergy season. Yeah. At the time, I was living in Los Angeles, and I was part of a project where the singer was booked for a few months on a ship. So we had a jazz cruise kind of thing for Princess Cruise Line. And in that time, I met my wife-to-be, who also was working as a soloist, a lounge piano player, and the Captain Circle, that kind of stuff. So she was actually a privileged musician compared to us. We were like almost like we were staff crew. She was the star of the of the ship. But that's all right, because she is very, very talented, and she deserved that, and she worked very, very hard for that. So anyway, she was feeling lonely about doing that gig, and so she asked me, "Wow, why don't we just do something together? Put together a jazz quartet and just keep doing whatever you guys are doing." So I talked to the rest of the band. They were very pleased to hear, and we started working the next contract as a quartet, and we were trying to keep it really low key and everything. So, but we couldn't help it, and after a couple of months, we just fell in love with each other, and we said, okay, if we are serious about this, we should quit working on ships, because it's the worst scenario for people to try to be together, stay together, be together. Okay. So she agreed, and we moved. I took her with me in Redondo Beach, down in the south of LA, and a year later, we were engaged at that point, and a year later we married in Vancouver. So it was 27 years ago. Okay.
So where is she from originally?
She was born in Edmonton, as a matter of fact.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Now, you said it's difficult, like, for both of you to be on the cruise as a couple. So why would it be difficult?
Well, the routine, the amount of hours that you have to work, the inclusive space that you have to share with a lot of people. Okay. It's not really, in my opinion, a good environment for couples that decide to be together. Oh, okay. In my opinion, that's the way I feel. Mm-hmm. However, there are people that are actually working on cruise ships, and they're couples. They've been married for a while, so they do a duo kind of thing. And I met a few of them, and they're happy. So it's not always,
Yeah, it just didn't work for you.
Everybody.
Yeah, it just didn't work for you, right? Yeah.
Yes, it didn't work for us. No.
Right. So now, do you and your wife perform now together?
Well, no, we haven't for a while. We did while we were down in California before moving to Canada in 2003. Mm-hmm. So we used to do that quite a bit. We did also 2 recordings for her on her name. But then since we moved to Canada, the family expanded. We had 2 kids. So we start teaching full time rather than performing. Now, I am a stage addicted, so I need to perform as much as I can, because when I'm on stage, I am in my comfort zone. Yes, I love it, despite my age. But age has nothing to do with that, because If you love it, you feel like a kid anytime you step on stage. For Charlene is different. Charlene is she kind of like I don't know if I want to do it anymore. It's too much work, singing, playing, preparing the repertoire, putting the band together, and just dealing with all the logistic that comes with that.
Right.
He was like, you know what? I want to teach. I love to teach my kids, so she's got 32 students right now at home, and she's pretty much full time.
That's a lot of students. Wow.
A lot of students. Yeah, considering that half of them are actually 45 to an hour lessons, not just half an hour. That's for the little ones.
Right.
So it's a lot of hours.
Yeah, for sure. So she's very, very busy. Now, how about you? Have you been out there a lot performing lately?
Well, yeah. As a matter of fact, last night.
Oh, good.
So I'm still, excuse me, I'm still very lucky to combine my teaching with my performing. I'm still performing 3 nights a week after, I wouldn't say after the pandemic because we're still in there.
Yes.
But since February, it picked up slowly but steadily. And yeah, right now I'm doing fine. I mean, I just, I'm a freelancer, so pretty much working with a couple of projects, but most of the time I get the calls from whoever needs a bass player.
Right. Yeah. I'm just going to ask you, remind people what you play, and it's a bass player. Yes. So
yeah,
performing 3 nights a week is really good, isn't it?
Well, it depends. Some gigs are good gigs. Other gigs, you do it for other reasons. For instance, last night I was co-hosting a jazz jam session, which is available, every Sunday night here in Calgary at the Asylum for Arts, which is a place where everybody can come and perform. It's a beautiful place, and yes, I want to speak about that because it's Scott. The owner, he deserves a lot of credits for that. He's working hard, and it's a beautiful place, very well equipped, and he's doing a lot of work for that. And so, in that particular situation, the pay is irrelevant, in my opinion, because it's mostly for the community. We're building a very solid music community here in Calgary, and it's a big part of it. Now, there are other, places where you can actually do that kind of thing, but I'm speaking very, with emphasis about Scott because he's putting a lot of work in it.
Yeah. What's his name? Scott? What was his last name?
Wow. I forget the last name. Scott Arnold.
Oh, Scott Arnold. Okay.
And Asylum for Arts. For art. Not art.
Very nice. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Okay. And one of the things I was thinking about, would you ever go on the road again if that opportunity came up?
Yes. Oh, totally. Yeah. Thank God I'm still in good health. So if there is a good opportunity, which means, a very well organized tour with good musicians and good music and a fair, pay.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
I would definitely go. Yeah. Maybe not for a long time, but if it takes, let's say 4 to 5 weeks,
right,
I would go even to Europe. I would love to do it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, because that I know talking to musicians that's not for everybody, but it certainly is good to expand your audience, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I do understand that some musicians are not keen to do that because if you go on the road, you have to be very disciplined, not just artistically speaking, but you have to follow a very strict regime in terms of keeping yourself healthy and strong every night, because between traveling and performing every other night or sometimes every night for a few days, it takes a lot of energy, and you really have to balance that with the performance with your, how much sleep you get,
Yeah.
You have to eat healthy, and you have to exercise. So those elements are super important to get every night on stage and perform at 150%,
Yeah, I can imagine it would take a lot of energy out of you. And it must be hard too if you have a family at home, right? A wife
Yeah.
and children. It's got to be hard on everybody to be away.
Well, but that's why I married a musician, so she understands.
Now, your children, they're getting a little bit older now?
Yeah, my son is 24 and my daughter just turned 16.
Are they musically inclined at all? Are they interested?
My daughter wanted to take some lessons on guitar, and even on bass last year she did. So she's very artistic oriented, but not necessarily music, but she likes music. She likes to play once in a while. My son plays the tenor saxophone just for fun.
Okay.
They're not interested in any music career, but
Right.
but they keep the music going just for fun.
Yeah, you can enjoy it without being a performer, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah.
don't have to be a performer, just play.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you have coming up? Do you have anything, any exciting performances coming up?
Well, there is a jazz festival coming up at the end of June here in Calgary.
Okay.
So the jazz musicians are gearing up for that. Pretty exciting. There are some names coming from outside Calgary, and it's going to be very, very exciting time for this town. But what I would like to mention that I'm working hard on it, it's the first ever bass boot camp that we are having here in Calgary in the late July for 3 days.
Oh, nice. Now, if somebody wanted to be involved, how would they reach you?
Okay. Tomorrow, all the informations will be out on Facebook and all the other medias, or they can actually log into my website, and I will have by tomorrow an extra page dedicated just for the bass bootcamp with all the informations, registrations, statements, registration form, the schedule, and everything. Yeah,
Okay.
and all the requirements.
Okay, so I was going to post this a little bit later this week, but maybe I'll do it tonight instead.
Oh, well, it will be July 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So we still have
okay.
Roughly 2 months.
Okay.
So you can take your time. Now, thank you for doing that, by the way.
Oh, listen, it's always a pleasure. You know, I enjoy speaking with you. I enjoy finding out, you know, I love musicians. I'm not musically inclined, but you know, I don't play any instrument, I should say, but I do love speaking with musicians. I love the generosity of spirit that all the musicians that I've spoken to have. I really appreciate that of them. And having been on stage performing, not as a musician, but, you know, so I can understand that part too. Being on stage is like where you live, basically, you know, in your head, I mean, right?
Yeah, it's a state of mind.
Yes.
See, music is so so wide in terms of not just styles, but in terms of the way human beings connect to it. So there's no just one type of musicians or one type of thinking of the music world, music as universe in a way.
Right.
And that's the beauty, because you can still have different opinion from different people, different takes, different point of view, and that will give you the opportunity to expand your vision if you are open enough to listen to other people, because we're always learning from each other. And it's funny because just a couple of days ago I had this student, and she's very very good at keeping a scheduling going rather than just she's an adult, and she's very steady, you know, in her mission in terms of learning. And she said, well, and I said, you know, it's only fair to say that teachers also learn from students, not just the student learning from the teacher.
Mm.
And she looked at me like, what do you have to learn from me? And I say, you have no idea. I can learn a lot from you. I can learn how to craft my skills in terms of reaching out to different students that have different ideas in how to approach the same topic. But you give me the opportunity to learn that if I teach the same topic to John will not, learn at the same speed or in the same way than Mark,
Right.
So there are a little bit, you have to adjust, in my opinion, with students. Some teachers, they say, no, this is the way you teach. This is the way it is. Don't change the way, just do it consistently with every single student. Yes and no. I rather look into the human being and say, okay, if you want to learn this, how can I reach you? Rather than say, no, I'm the teacher. I, dictate the way it is. I don't think in that way.
I think as much, and I think like when I was a student anyway, like just regular school, when you had a teacher who was willing to work with you, it was always for the students such a better place to be, right?
Yeah. And also they come back because they like the way you approach them. You make them feel that they are worth themselves to,
right.
to learn something, to enrich their own being by being exposed to music in the right way.
For sure. Oh, that's great. So now we're going to end it there. It's always enjoyable talking to you. I appreciate you coming back on the show.
Thank you.
Just going to say to the audience, I hope you enjoyed the second interview with Stefano Valdo. I will include his website so that if you want to contact him for the base camp, which is going to be in July, you can do so. And if you want to check out his music, it'll all be there for you. So thanks again, everybody.
It would be stefanovaldo.com. That's just one word.com, and that's very simple.
Nice and simple. Yeah. So thanks, everybody. And thank you, Stefano. And peace out, everyone.
Thank you, Nancy.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.